are indeed talking about autonomy with transformations that include linear, circular, and generalized transform. Maybe the most well-known member of this family is the linear transform that is aimed at pattern recognition, maybe geometric and visual recognition in different contexts. The need for this recognition is pretty obvious in applications that range from automatic navigation, surgery, detection in medical imaging, microscopy, etc., etc., etc. In the case of the linear and circular transform, we are dealing with analytical geometrical features that can be put in the equation. But the task for pattern recognition is indeed varied and deals with other types of geometrical features that are not really easy to be put in an analytical form, and we are also dealing with problems with noise, occlusion, and so on. So, taking this as a starting point, we developed some unconventional imaging techniques. The funny thing about unconventional is that we need to define what is conventional. But conventional is abstract. So, we start from the generalized transforms and devise some way of imaging directly the transformation instead of imaging our scene and doing a digital process. In the next point, we move on to read about real-time pattern recognition with this technique and different variations that deal with the recognition with invariance to variations in the scale, the orientation, and also shift. So we developed some system that takes as a basis a multi-view sensing, but we are not sensing 3D objects in this case. We are sensing 2D objects, but with varied views. We next move on to the detection of objects, trying to deal with the problem of occlusion and how we can enhance the robustness of our method. And finally, we are going to talk about some future lines of work that deal with the pattern recognition with these techniques, but in place objects. Let's start with the generalized abstraction. Before that, we are going to, or trying to give some insight, especially for those who are not in the digital processing community. These transformations, these famous transformations, deal with a process that is simply a mapping and accumulation. What do we mean by this? We start, for example, with the circle of transform. We know that we can put in an analytical form a circle, and we are trying to fit to an image that is made simply of 3 right points. Let me start by saying to you that these transformations are working on binary images. So we are only having a background of black points and 1 point or 5 points, in this case only 3. If we have a circle of a certain radius and we want to fit the circle to these 3-point images, we know that the best points to put the center of the circle are this, and so on with the other case. So the accumulation goes in this way. We can trace a circle, for example, around the center of each of the right points. Then for this circle we have 1 vote or 1 point, or whatever you want, and we do the same with the others. The points of intersection are represented indeed an accumulation map. So 2 votes means that the circle is passing through 2 points, that this is the case. As we know, if we change the radius, we have 1 radius for which the circle is going to pass through the 3 points, as we all know from basic geometry. So we can vary the radius and have a different accumulation map. In the case of a circle of transform, we have an accumulation of half space that is 3-dimensional. We have the spatial coordinates and 1 parameter that is the radius of the circle. To have a certain image of what happens with a more complex geometrical feature, we can take a look at the image made of 3 circles and the transformation of this image through a circle of the radius of the intermediate one. That goes like this, the bowling scheme, and the final image done. At this point, please take or grasp this image, but because we're going to go back to it. So our half space is, or the slices of this half space look like this. For different radius, we have different transformations for a certain parameter. In the case of a general or arbitrary template that is not possible to be written in an analytical form, we have a lookup table for the points that made this template, and we have 2 important parameters. One is scale, and the other is orientation. So, indeed, all this, including the circle half transform, is a method of template matching. What we are going to, or what we are looking for in template matching, we are going, or we're trying to fit our template to the most or the maximum number of points in our image. For example, if we put here our template with its reference point at this place, we know that we are passing only through one of these bright points. We're going in the same way through 2 points, 3 points, and so on. So the accumulation in this case, when we are dealing with a general geometrical feature, is made over a 4D space. This is a relatively large computational requirement, especially in the case of full invariance. That means we want a pattern recognition method that can recognize a certain geometrical feature independent of its orientation or its scale. So we can put this in the form of a correlation between the image and our template. But we know that if we start from a correlation, we can also go through a convolution by considering a rotated template. In this case, our transformation goes by pointing or stating or drawing our rotated template with its reference point around each of our points in our image. It's somehow the point square function of our system, or the impulse response. Nicely done, we know that at the intersection, or the sum of these rotated templates, we know that the point of maximum accumulation, if we put now the template with its original orientation, we have a nice fit to our image. And we have identified what is known as, I was telling before, the point square touch. So our generalized transform is indeed a convolution between an image and a rotated template. This is a starting point when we want to get an image of our transformation. What sort of optical setup we might use in order to obtain our transformation? So we use this optical correlator, incoherent optical correlator. We need a good amount of incoherence because we are trying to do a process that mimics the sum or accumulation process of our transformation. So we start by considering an object, and we know that in the case of severity focus, the response to a point in our object plane is going to be resembled by a geometrical copy of our pupil in the system. In the case of a correct orientation and scale of our template, we know that we are going to obtain a bright spot that is pointing out in our image where is the point of, sorry for redundancy, the point of maximum correlation with our template. Our actual setup is going like this, where we have a ETL, that is an electrically tunable lens, coupled to a zoom camera in a way that we know that we have or we can control the scale parameter of our information. That is, we can control the focus of our system, so somehow we can control the size of our projection over the image plane, and we can also control the orientation parameter. In this case, it's a very primitive model of what we are working, but it works somehow with a rotatory stage. With this in hand, we are able to do real-time pattern recognition with our generalized transform. If you remember from our past slides, this was the transformation how we look for the case of a three-circle image. For a different radius, we are able to obtain different transformations, and in the case of the video that is running here, we are doing real-time processing of this video. Yes? Somehow what we are doing here is a span or a scanning of our accumulator space in real time. We can also do pattern recognition by orientation, and we can apply this to natural scenes. In this case, as I was mentioning, firstly, we have as a starting point an image, and to apply a half transform, we need to do some sort of edge enhancement, so that we are left with something that only resembles the geometrical features that we need to find. And this is how it looks when we apply our optical transformation. As our transformation is shift invariant due to the optical system, and specifically due to the convolutional form of our transformation, that is also shift invariant, we can start from an image where we have several targets and obtain a transformation that where we can obtain easily where are these, for example, cells. We can also do some scale variable detection, but as we are working with a system with in principle, it has a fixed radius for a certain time, we need to do some time division multiplexing. That is, we can send a signal to our ETL and have a variety of radius in our point spread function and detect at different times different operations. The same goes for the orientation parameter. In this case, we are rotating a certain pupil. Note that in this case, we are going to do this digitally. We need to put a triangle that is no way to put it in an analytical form, but it's really simple to be drawn and put in the system. Okay. That is what is related with our pattern recognition and time division multiplexing. But if we are aiming at a certain fully invariant transformation, that is, we can detect with wherever it is our target, wherever it is its orientation, and wherever it is its scale, we need to apply a different strategy. In this case, we are going to use again an optical setup. You might remember this guy, Juan Yaguno, has his talk a few days ago, and a poster where we use, or where he used in this case, a pupil, a different polarization pupil behind and a lenslet array. Indeed, previously to this work that we are doing with Juan, we start with the following slide that we are going to show. That is related to the generalized half transform, but using, in this case, an array of pupils with different sizes and different orientations in order to obtain behind each of these lenslets a different transformation. I'm going to make a parenthesis here. Note that in the case of an array of lenses, those who are in the optics community know that for a single lens we have shift invariance. That's the idea behind the using a point spread function, but with an array of lenses, what we have here is an array of point spread functions. So behind each one, we can put a different pupil with a different size, or we can vary wherever is our target and obtain different transformations. For the case, for example, of a varied scale, we have in this case different sizes of circles. An image that is quite simple, and we can obtain behind each of our lenslets a different transformation. The bright spots in each of these cases is pointing out the maximum correlation with a certain size of a circle. This is the case, for example, of a varied radius, and we can see in all of these images in the bottom that we have a varied detection according to the size in a certain time frame. This is the same, but with different orientations, and we can also put different orientations and different scales. Okay, that is what we are working with full invariance, but we are dealing with a transformation that needs to be reduced of the system to different real features, real problems. The real problems in pattern recognition are, for example, noise. In the case of the generalized transform, we have a good resistance to noise that might be measured by means of the peak correlation energy that goes out this way. We know that our transformation is robust against Gaussian noise, it's robust also against pepper noise and different sources. But another problem that is not easily solved is what is related to occlusion. That is, our target is partially seen in our field of view. In this case, what we are going to show here is a certain approximation to this problem that deals with the combinations of generalized transform and stereo vision. This is unconventional between brackets. It's unconventional because the usual approach to this problem is to retrieve the 3D map of our scene and then using a 3D template to fit over this map. But we can do a fit of our template in each of the images of our stereo pair separately. We know that there is a certain connection between the images that we are looking at, that is measured by means of the disparity between the left and right images, so we can do a different or a separate transformation or half transformation, that is one of the transformations that we have seen before, but applying to each of the images of the stereo pair separately. That is nothing new, but if we can get the sum of these transformations and we sum and we shift them according to the disparity, we are able to have a better signal. Take, for example, the next scene where we have 3 volts. If we are able to detect, for example, at the green ball, that is a very simple task because the green ball is in the front, it's not occluded, it's easily seen. So if we fit our transformation according to the radius of this ball, we obtain in each of the images of the stereo pair a separate transformation that has its maximum at the point corresponding to the center of the ball. That is fine. If we sum these images, we have nothing new. The new thing, or the reducedness, comes when we consider the detection of an object that is occluded, in this case in the back. This is the ball. For each of the images transform according to a certain circle with a fixed radius, we are obtaining the maximum not at the center of the red ball, but instead at the center of the green ball. But if we sum these transformations according to the disparity of the stereo pair, we are obtaining the maximum at the correct point. That is, we can enhance the response of our system by considering the redundancy in this stereo pair, and this can naturally be extended to multi-vision system. Finally, to give you a certain insight of the future lines of work that might be conducted with generalized transform, we're going to consider an idea dealing with pattern recognition but in phase objects. That is a really particular type of imaging that it cannot be done only digitally. We need to do some certain kind of optics to obtain or have a phase image. We have seen in different talks before this one. Well, the main idea, from my point of view, is that we need some certain kind of separation from the perfect image. We know that if we copy, if we have a perfect system, in this case, for example, in the case of microscopy, we know that if, for example, we are taking an image in focus, we have no phase information. But phase can be encoded in the aberrations part of the system. In this case, for example, it's focus. Yes, that is a very simple experience that we can do. And the perspective for the application of generalized Fourier transform to phase object is that we can do, for example, in this case what we have here is the well-known transport of the gradients equation that relates a change in the intensity with a certain variation with the gradient of some certain kind of derivative information of the phase. The usual approach to this problem is to use systems where we have a certain pixel period, but we can incorporate what we know from the detection in amplitude objects to the detection in phase objects by considering a pupil that can resemble the template that we are looking for in a phase object. The application that we are envisioning in this case is or got to do with the detection, for example, of certain geometrical features in microscopic images. Okay. Well, the collaborators that we have here, we are trying, or we are accustomed to working with physicists, with biologists, and electrical engineers, that we can somehow, I think that this is the best experience that we have with different minds, with different insights over a certain problem, in this case, in the detection of geometrical objects. Thanks for your attention.
Great talk, wonderful. So we're seeing